Hello and welcome to the viewers of this video. This is the Orange Fan here, bringing you another entry for the episode Recap and Thoughts category. This video will be dedicated to the A segment of episode 40 of The Loud House, Out of the Picture. We begin this segment at Royal Woods Elementary School, where Coach Pakowski is giving the students their copies of their single pictures in the yearbook. I say single pictures because shortly afterwards, he also gives them a list of the schedule. That's it. He gives them the schedule times for when they're going to take the group or club pictures. And we also see that Coach Pakowski does not like the fact that he's been given the responsibility to take the pictures for the yearbook. When Lincoln and Clyde are looking through the schedule to see, because their group is the Ghost Hunters Club, but Lincoln is surprised to see that it's not on there. Apparently, Clyde was supposed to register the Ghost Hunters Club, but he must have forgotten or something happened. So bottom line is that the Ghost Hunters Club picture isn't going to get into the yearbook. And the redheaded trio show concern for Lincoln and Clyde about being forgotten. Liam mentions that there's a student named Marty Malik who only has his one picture, the one for your class, when grouped on the page with your class, that one picture. That's all Marty Malik has in the yearbook, and no one remembers him because of that. When Lincoln questions how Liam knows Marty Malik if he's so forgotten, Liam's response is that Marty apparently lives behind his as in Liam's bar. So Lincoln and Clyde are now fearful about being forgotten, and they happen to come across Lola, who's upset about yearbook-related matters too. But in her case, Lola is angry that Coach Pakowski took shall we say, a very awkward picture of Lola for the yearbook. It's not a very flattering picture, and Lola thinks that her pageant career will be in jeopardy because of this lousy picture. And she declares that she is going to fix this situation. And that inspires Lincoln to think that he and Clyde should try and fix this situation that they're in regarding the yearbook. So their first plan is to try and sneak into one of the group pictures. We actually see them try to go into 3 of the groups or clubs. It's Student Council, the Chess Club, and the Morticianers Club. And, oh, by the way, Lucy and Haiku are members of the Morticianers Club. So Haiku's the first of the Friends of the Sisters from Dance Dance Resolution to return. But in all 3 of those instances, it doesn't go well for Lincoln and Clyde. They aren't visible in the picture for one reason or another. And this concerns them greatly. Meanwhile, back at the Loud House, we see Lola is trying to get her picture taken, a redo picture from several of her sisters, but for one reason or another, it doesn't go too well. But Lily happens to be present for all of those instances with Lola, and she's playing on a tablet, Lily is. And eventually, Lily shows Lola the pictures that Lily's been taking on the tablet, and Lola finds a picture that actually looks like a decent picture for the yearbook, and Lola is quite grateful to her youngest sister. And later on, when Lincoln and Clyde are still trying to figure out what they're going to do about the yearbook situation, they also forgot Marty Malik's name, kind of going with the fear that Liam put into their head. And they see Lola is angry because she tried to she tried to get the replacement picture to Coach Bukowski, but he wouldn't accept it, and apparently he's overworked with the yearbook, and Lola complains that Coach Bukowski should find some more staff to help him with the yearbook if he's so overworked. And once again, Lincoln is inspired. He and Clyde decide that they should help Coach Bukowski with the yearbook as a way to have their for the yearbook to play a part in what their next plan is. And actually, although they're worried that Coach Bukowski might not accept their help, he actually does accept their help. So they're in. And they're given, Coach Bukowski leaves after he hires them for the yearbook staff, Lola shows up. She's trying to use muffins to bribe Coach Bukowski, but when she sees Lincoln and Clyde and they clarify that they're now part of the yearbook staff, she says this is even better. And she gives Lincoln a flash drive which has her replacement picture on it. We also find out that Lola apparently had some secrets about Coach Bukowski that she was willing to resort to if the muffins didn't work. But for Lincoln and Clyde, while they do intend to help Lola out, they still want to try and not be forgotten. So they're at the Loud House and they're editing the yearbook pictures so that they can insert copies of themselves. So you have Lincoln and Clyde pictures being cut and pasted into the existing club photos, and it's on another flash drive. And they plan to head to the school later on after they're done with their editing to try and get it on there without anyone suspecting it. But they find Coach Bukowski there, and he reveals that he was told that they have to complete the yearbook pictures or upload the yearbook pictures by tonight. And that doesn't give Lincoln and Clyde much time, especially because it's a very slow computer, so it's a very long uploading time. So Clyde takes Coach Bukowski into a different room from the room where the computer for the yearbook is, and he's playing therapist for Coach Bukowski, saying that his 9 years of therapy could help relieve some anger or stress that Coach Bukowski is feeling, to give Lincoln some time so he can copy and paste the edited pictures onto the computer before Coach Bukowski suspects anything. So during the therapy session, Coach Bukowski reveals that he actually wanted to be an Irish step dancer, but his dad apparently didn't support the idea, mostly because of his arches. His arches apparently would have made that a difficult dream for Coach Bukowski to fulfill. And he starts to say words that are very similar to what Lola was saying about fearing her pageant career being in jeopardy. And hearing that, Lincoln does something. And by the time Coach Bukowski leaves the room to check the how far the pictures have uploaded, there isn't much progress, but Coach Bukowski admits that he feels a lot better after the therapy he had with Clyde. And Clyde is confident that Lincoln had enough time to copy the new pictures on there. But Lincoln's trying to explain something to Clyde, but Clyde doesn't really give him the chance to hear him out. So it's a few weeks later now, and the yearbooks are ready, and they're done, and they're ready to be handed out to the students. And before Lincoln and Clyde have the chance to get their copies of the yearbook, Lola finds them and she wants to thank them, because we see that Lincoln managed to put the revised picture of Lola into the yearbook, and she's grateful for that. But when Clyde's looking through Lola's copy of the yearbook, he doesn't see any of the edited pictures he and Lincoln made. And Lincoln reveals he only had enough time to upload the pictures from one of the flash drives, and hearing Coach Bukowski's words reminded him of Lola's words, so he decided to ensure that Lola's pageant career wasn't in jeopardy. And while he and Clyde are still fearful about being forgotten, Lola actually says that she appreciates their gesture, and she says that she won't be forgetting about them anytime soon. And then the redheaded trio, they have their copies of the yearbook, and they show Lincoln and Clyde that they actually did get into a group picture, yearbook staff. Although the picture, it's awkward. They're on the crease, so it's half Lincoln and half Clyde. But for some reason, it says Clinkin McLeod. I mean, I know that's their fusion name for their teamwork, but you would think it would have blended in, like it would have been half Lincoln's name, half Clyde's name, but who knows? Who knows? That was probably just for the sake of humor. But so Lincoln and Clyde did end up getting other pictures besides their single pictures. That's the bottom line. And Lincoln and Clyde do an Irish step dance to celebrate, and Coach Bukowski joins them, but then his arches kick in, and that's how the segment ends. So this segment, brought back some memories of the yearbook. I mean, I did manage to get into a few of the yearbook pictures, though I wasn't really in any group or not any club pictures anyway. I was more in it was more like around Halloween time, actually. I had a few costumes that really stood out, and whoever was in charge of the yearbook wanted to get those pictures in, so that was a fun little memory of that. And, well, like I mentioned earlier, this is the segment that brings back one of the friends of the sisters from Dance Dance Resolution, Haiku in this case, and we find out she and Lucy are part of the Morticianers Club. So this seems to suggest this is probably how Lucy and Haiku met each other and became friends, probably through the Morticianers Club. So with Giggles and Luann meeting at clown school, and Lynn and Polly Payne meeting on the same roller derby team, that just leaves Tabby. Like, how did Tabby meet and befriend Luna? That's still a mystery for the time being. And, well, I did mention it before. There is a debate going on if Polly did return in a future segment. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. And it's true, Haiku's appearance here was a brief one, but again, I still thought it was a nice touch to see Haiku return, even if it was just briefly, because I do like, it did give us a little more insight about Lucy's life outside of the family, so hopefully we can have more of the friends of the sister showing up, or any other friends for that matter too. I'm hopeful we'll see more of that in the future in season 3 and what have you. And I also like this segment because we also got to learn a little more about one of the school staff, Coach Bukowski. So we found out that he actually wanted to be an Irish step dancer, and he's not happy with being in charge of the yearbook. We still don't know what his first name is yet, but I'm hopeful that we'll learn more about them. I mean, like, we know a fair bit about Agnes, and we know a fair bit about Wilbur, and this one helped give us a little more insight on Coach Bukowski, so hopefully they'll give us some more insight on some of the other school staff in the future. But another thing I liked about this was this segment did provide some nice insight for, or it showed some of Lola's kinder moments, because Lola showed some actual appreciation for Lincoln and Clyde. That's it. Lola was appreciative that Lincoln took the time to put the revised picture in the yearbook for her, even though Lincoln thought it cost him and Clyde the chance to be remembered, but they ended up still getting into the yearbook through the yearbook staff. And so I thought that was a nice touch. It was like, it didn't really, it felt like everyone, like no one really got a raw deal in this segment. It felt like things turned out well for everyone. And yeah, we got to see more of Lola's kinder moments, which I think is definitely a good thing because Lola is one of the Loud sisters that has one of the worst reputations among certain fans and viewers. So every chance we get to see that there's more to Lola than just her less flattering qualities, that's a good thing in my book. So there you go. I thought this was a really enjoyable segment overall. I thought it was a good one overall. I didn't really have any grievances with this one. And as to be expected, we'll be